Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you on the Author's Journey, where we're privileged and honored to connect with best-selling authors and to really discover, how did they do this? What was it like to bring their book forward and to go from idea to reality and share that into the world? And what I love about our author today is she just walks the talk of what her book is all about, which is allow life to happen and receive everything you desire. How beautiful is that, to learn how to walk in such a way that as you are birthing things, including a book, and bringing that forward, that you can allow it to happen and to bring it forward in a powerful way. So I know you're going to enjoy our conversation today. Excited to have her joining us. And I want to make sure you get the most out of our time together today. So here are my tips. 1, be present. So take a breath. Connect in. This is a time for you to receive, to be poured into, and it's a moment in time you're carving out for you. And I celebrate that. 2, have a paper and pen ready or your journal somewhere that you can capture ideas and insights that impact you, that touch you. Whether you are a writer yourself looking to bring your book, your message, your story forward, or you just are an avid reader that loves to really know behind the scenes. What happens? What is that like? Here's an opportunity to hear directly from the author, their experience and journey, and you can learn from that, and that can add such depth to our perspective in the world. So be ready to capture that information and insights as they come to you. And sometimes through the conversation, there will be something that bubbles up within you. This is the moment you can capture that. So have your notebook, your pen and paper ready to really receive and capture. And 3, enjoy. Allow the conversation to flow. Engage. Really let yourself be poured into. And we're going to share at the end of the show contact information, ways that you can connect with our amazing author, get their book, and connect in with myself. So have your paper and pen ready that you're going to be given that access, that information, and that's really valuable as well. So we are excited and thrilled to have you all joining us. And with that, it is my privilege and honor to introduce our amazing guest. Beth McGill is a spiritual energy mentor, energy healing practitioner, inspirational speaker, and #1 international best-selling author. She is passionate about helping you find clarity, confidence, and courage to live your life as the powerful creator that you are. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and creative Beth McGill to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Such a privilege to be here. I'm so excited. It's fun. I truly desire that someone is inspired in some way today. It's so much fun to be here.
I am so excited to have you here, and I join forces with you in that desire that somebody is inspired and encouraged and on their journey to bring forward those things they're called to bring forward. And I really believe when 2 of us are gathered and united in something like that, magic happens. So I'm excited to see the magic unfold today. And I'd love for you to share, why is this work of helping people in this way? Why is this personally so important to you?
Well, I found for myself joy in living every day, and I was able to describe it in such a way of allowing, right? Before, I never knew. There's not a blueprint out there that says how to find joy. We all have to find it in some way ourselves. But when I found it and found that life could be so easy, I felt compelled that I have to share this. I have to share this. Like, it wasn't there wasn't anything that just said, oh, go on with your life and be merry and happy. And no, I felt, no, I have to share this. Like, it was just clear that that's what I was supposed to do.
I love that. So one, that you found a way to live in such a way to have that joy, but then you were also compelled to share it. And not only were you compelled, you honored that. You said yes, and have leaned in to bring that forward and share it in the world. And you've done that in several different ways. And part of that was bringing your book forward. And so I'd love for you to share the title of your book and what you're hoping that this does for the reader, kind of the ripple you're hoping gets created in their life and potentially around the world as each person's impacted.
Yeah, so, I never intended on writing the book. First of all, the title, Allow Life to Happen, came to me on October 27th, 2020. And I heard those words as I woke up. Actually, they woke me up. I was laying in bed and I heard the words, Allow Life to Happen. And later that day in my meditation, I asked, what does that mean, allow life to happen? I knew what it meant for me personally. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. But I thought, does it have more of a meaning? And in my meditation, it was revealed to me that was going to be the title of a book I was going to write. And I just laughed it off. I made a note of it in my journal. I laughed it off because at the time I was busy working on creating other things. And then, and receive everything you desire. So that came to me as I came through with a few different subtitles, and I put them out. I was involved with this forum where you could, give and take and put out titles and get opinions. And this one comment from this woman, so I had like 4 different subtitles, and this woman commented on Receive Everything You Desire. She said, I would never read that book. It's overpromising. And I thought, I so appreciated her comment because I thought, and you're the person I don't want to read the book. I want someone that really is honoring themselves and believes in themselves that they can receive anything that they desire. That's the person that I want to read the book. And so I honored her, and I thought, I have to call it that. That has to be the title. And so that's where the full title came from. But going back to, writing the book, that came to me on January 15th of last year, where I was told in my meditation, I received a message that you need to stop everything you're doing, stop creating all your fun stuff that you're doing, and stop and write the book. And for me, I've never intended on writing a book. It was not it's not on my bucket list to do. So I questioned that because I didn't know how to write a book, but I honor that was revealed to me. And the conversation went something like this: I don't know how to write a book, and my God Spirit Universe, my message was, we have you, we have your back. You don't have to know how to do it. We're going to guide you through the process. And so I said, okay. And, when we make a decision, making a decision is very powerful. So the minute I said yes to writing the book, I was along for the journey and the process was revealed to me. Hopefully that makes sense.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I didn't know some of those details that you just shared with us about your journey. So thank you. I'm like, wow. And bringing a book forward from this birth, do this, you're called to do this, and to have it released within a year is really quite an accomplishment and powerful. And you did that. And I love knowing that you didn't know how, it wasn't on your bucket list, but you were given this guidance, this direction. You said yes, you went into action, and those next steps revealed themselves and unfolded and brought forward your book in such a powerful way. That's just beautiful, and I think something we can all learn from. We get in our own way sometimes, holding back, wondering how, want to know the plan first. And instead, if we can trust, lean in, say yes, and allow those other steps come forward. So I appreciate you sharing that. I think it's so powerful. And I'm curious, as you brought this book forward and you reflect back on the journey, do you have any pieces of advice or wisdom for any of our listeners out there that are maybe wrestling a little bit with, I'm feeling called to write a book. Someday I'll write a book. They're in the someday space, or they're struggling a little bit with, it just feels so daunting. Any advice or direction you would give them?
Rebecca, I would say to leave the daunting and the hard work behind, because if someone's really feeling inspired to write a book, it should be fun. And I would say embrace the fun. Make it fun somehow. And I would say go inward, look inside, and that's where all the answers are, right? So I would say when you feel inspired to write. When it feels like it's fun, do it. But don't force yourself to try to do something. Don't try to make something happen. I would allow it to happen, right? When you feel the calling of your soul, when you feel the yes, then go for it. But don't try to make something happen. That would be my suggestion.
Beautiful. And you also shared how you didn't know how to do all this, but you just said yes, and you started writing. You started to bring it forward. What helped you with the how? How did that reveal itself as you started on the journey of writing and creating?
Yeah, it's funny. I even write about that in the book as I'm writing. I'm like, well, I don't even know how it's going to get edited or how it gets published, but I'm still writing. and that was really my process. So I just did one thing. And for me, I didn't worry about the how. I knew that the next step would be revealed, and I completely trusted the universe to bring me the right person. So when it came to editing, for example, I just put it out there, and I asked people, and I asked questions, and I could feel when it was the right person, and all of that flowed when it came to the different types of editors and learning all of that. I just thought, okay, well, this is going to be really fun, and I'm just going to learn a bunch, and I met with people, and I interviewed, and I guess I asked a lot of questions, and I trusted myself also that if I knew that this was supposed to happen, and I knew that the message was supposed to get out there, so I also knew that the process itself would be revealed. And I asked lots of questions, and I learned a lot. But I asked myself, is this fun? Is this easy? Is this flowing? Does it feel good? And if it felt heavy, or if it felt like it wasn't the right person, I moved on, and I let it go. So I checked in with myself a lot.
Powerful. Thank you for sharing. And I also like that you were proactive in asking, reaching out, identifying what it is that you needed, and willing to explore and learn in the process. So it wasn't just this passive allowing someone will discover me and come to me. And you reached out and shared what you were looking for, what you needed, and followed the path. And that's so important, trusting yourself and knowing that you would know. And thank you for walking us through how to recognize that and to continue moving forward until you find that right fit that feels good and flowing and joyful, not heavy and hard and uncomfortable. So I think that's really powerful. Anything you would add to that?
And it was the inspired action, right? It's not doing an action to force it to happen. So when I felt inspired to ask, that's what I did. And I did ask for guidance the whole time. And for me, meditation is very important. And that was a part of the process as well, is for me, I went inward and to look for those answers and for that guidance. So I want to make sure and include that as well.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. We are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about some of what Beth has shared and perhaps check in. Are you approaching life, writing, reading in such a way that you are allowing life and energy to flow? Are you creating room and space for that? Are you getting clarity on what it is to say yes to? Not so worried about the how, but the yes, and then trusting that each step will reveal the next. So great things to think about. We will be back in 2 minutes as we continue our conversation.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
The Internet's #1 talk station. #1 talk station. VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to pause and think about those things that are being planted on your heart and spirit, and how are you following them? Are you trying to figure out the how first? Are you honoring that pull and saying yes and allowing the rest to follow? Really great thing to check in on. And one of the things I wanted to support you in today, and it was really laid on my heart, is here's a way I can help you with the how. So for anyone that is thinking about bringing a book forward and writing, and maybe you have the idea, you're not sure the next steps, or you've written it, now what? Where do I start? I have a group of, or a collection of resources to support you, and this is part of our gift to you, and it's under Emerging Author Series with an S.com, emergingauthorseries.com, and it's a collection of 9 different ebooks. And they answer all of those questions, the frequently asked questions we get. There's even one of the collection that will walk you through the structure. What structure do I do to bring a book forward? How long should it be? What are the chapters? Word count? All that kind of stuff. Or myths and truths in the industry. So really great collection of resources to support you. EmergingAuthorSeries.com. And as a bonus, you go on our list, and it's a way for us to stay connected and in touch. So I encourage you to check that out. And I hope that it supports any of you out there, wherever you are on that journey, supporting some of that how, feeling that come alongside you. And I love how willing Beth is to say yes to bringing her wisdom and insight and what she's discovered forward in so many different ways. So we're going to continue our conversation with our beautiful Beth as we lean into learning more and more from her and her journey. And I love, we've been talking about some of the content in this book and what people discover, and a little bit of your journey and bringing it forward. And I wanted to have you give us a visual. If you could share a little bit of the cover, what that looks like, what that feels like. Listeners, you can find this on Amazon.com. And at the end of the show, Beth will let you know all the different ways you can connect. But can you give us a visual of your cover and why you designed it the way you did?
So I had met a beautiful woman. She's a graphic designer, and I reached out to her because I trust her, because I did have a vision, but my vision was colors. I knew what color scheme I wanted, and that's all I knew. And she came up with 3 different ideas, and she sent them to me because I had given her some idea about the book. And when she sent me these 3 beautiful book covers, they were all no's. And I felt bad because, but by seeing what I didn't resonate with, I started to get an idea of what I truly wanted. And so she called me and she said, "Don't feel bad." Like we're getting some clarity. And it was really fun because she took me on a guided meditation. And it was a guided meditation to draw out of me what I really desired to have in the book. And so we ended up co-creating it and coming up with the idea that I wanted it to be something where when someone saw it, it would draw them in. I wanted it to be like, oh, I want to go inside of that book. And that was the feeling. So for me, it was more of a feeling that I wanted someone, when they saw the cover, that they felt compelled to go inside. Similar to, I want people to go inside of them for the answers. I wanted the book cover to be a feeling of, oh, come inside and take a look. So it was a feeling that I was going for based upon those colors. And so it was something that my graphic designer and I co-created, if that makes sense.
I love that. And I love that you were trying to evoke a feeling and they had that wisdom and insight to, okay, we're not getting it quite right. Let's figure this out together and go deeper. And that's really powerful. And you had the courage and the ability to say, no, that's not quite right. And I think that's important too. Sometimes we settle on the cover and it's so important to have it really captures the container of your book. It's important that it's the right container to build that bridge and that connection. So do you mind giving us a description of what it looks like, the colors, the feel, any special elements?
Yeah, so it's the sky, it's the blue and the kind of a purple haze, if you will, a little bit of orange in the corner, and just the way she was able to allow life to happen, even the font, I feel like it just draws you in. And then, of course, the turquoise butterfly being a symbol of energy and awakening and transformation. So she was able to take my thoughts and my feelings and really evoke that feeling of positive energy, if you will.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that so much. And listeners out there, I hope it's giving you some great things to think about. And when you look at her cover, some things to notice and pay attention to, and particularly the feeling that you feel when you lean in and look at Beth's beautiful cover. So with that, I also wanted to just share a little bit, and Beth has prepared a reading, but I want to give a little bit of a context. So she recently released her book, shared it out in the world. And within a very short amount of time, it became not only a bestseller in the United States, it became a #1 bestseller in the United States and in multiple countries. It actually became a bestseller in 5 different countries, the US, Canada, UK, France, and Netherlands, reaching a total of 53 best-selling categories, 9 #1s. And this is just at its first release in the digital format, and soon all the other formats will be rippling out into the world as well. And that's just a real testament when I see something like that to how much this book was needed and how many people have resonated in different parts of the world and leaned in to have it be part of their life and part of their journey. And I celebrate that with you. Congratulations, #1 international bestselling author. Huge, huge accomplishment. And I'd love for our listeners to just take a moment as we celebrate that with Beth and breathe and get ready to receive the beautiful reading. She's giving us a little bit of a sample of what is in the book. So Beth, we'd love to hear your reading.
Yes, and can I just make a real quick comment, is that what's really fun about that, Rebecca, is the messages that I'm getting from across the world. Mm-hmm. It's been amazing. They're reaching out to me, so that's been really fun.
I love that.
Yeah, it's been so encouraging. The reading that I'm going to do is simply from the first chapter, the first 3 paragraphs. So I wanted to have that be kind of an invitation, if you will. So
Beautiful.
The first chapter is called Becoming Aware, and I'm going to read to you the section called Becoming. Becoming aware is the first step on your journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It is an unfolding, a process. In this chapter, you will learn why you need to become more aware. The exercises you will complete will guide you through the process. Relax and enjoy. Have you ever heard the expression, get out of your own way? Early on as an entrepreneur, I kept hearing it over and over, but I could not tell you what it meant. Now it's crystal clear. As you become aware of who you really are, you will effortlessly get out of your own way. You'll achieve clarity, focus, freedom, and success. You are becoming. One of my favorite books is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. And in the closing chapter, she writes, the simple rules are fearless faith, non-resistance, and unconditional love. You see, you must live in fearless faith, no fear. To live in a space of non-resistance means you allow all the good into your life. You must let go of everything that is not serving you. Finally, it means that you are loving unconditionally, especially first and foremost, loving yourself. Everything that you read and do in this book will bring you closer to fearless faith, non-resistance, and love. It's a peaceful state to live in. And that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Listeners, I just want to give you a moment to take that in and feel that invitation. The opportunity to live in such a way and flow in such a way. And this book is designed to help you do that. So, Beth, thank you for that reading and for sharing. As you reflect on our journey here today, our conversation today, do you have any piece of advice, tip, maybe something that even surprised you on the journey that, wow, I didn't know that in bringing the book forward that you would like to share with our listeners today?
Oh my gosh, I don't think I knew anything. Honestly, it all surprised and delighted me. I think the biggest thing was understanding the different levels of editors and putting that all together. That was interesting. That was interesting. That was something that was totally brand new. I think the thing that was also very interesting was just, working with you and figuring out KDP and all of that. But that part seemed so easy, and it really seemed to flow.
Well, I'm glad. We want that to flow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. There's so much on the journey that we learn that we didn't know, and the different types of editing and how those come together. Because I do think frequently we just think editing is editing and don't realize the different ways and types and layers and why each of those is important in the process. And then behind the scenes, some of the mechanics and systems in connecting with the different platforms like Amazon through KDP. So there's lots of kind of technical things behind the scenes that help bring a book forward in a powerful way. And I'm glad it was smooth and flowing for you, and it's been received so powerfully around the world. And I also wanted to see if you could share a tip with us just as we are sinking into this possibility that we can just allow life to happen, and in doing so, receive everything we desire, that is very much something available to us. For anyone that this is maybe wow, I don't know that I've ever thought about that, or I really am interested in that. Where do I start? Do you have a piece of advice or tip?
Ask yourself, do you love yourself? That's a starting point. I think that's something that people get so busy with life, but once you get to the point where, and I've had some people say, gosh, Beth, I don't even know if I like myself. And if you don't like yourself, if you don't love yourself, find out why. Because I believe to be in that place where you're living in joy and thriving every day, every moment, I believe that we do need to love ourselves and unconditionally, not just in good times, right? We need to love ourselves unconditionally. And, Louise Hay had this saying, to look in the mirror and say, do you love and accept yourself unconditionally? And I think that's definitely a starting place.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that wisdom and insight, giving us a starting place. An important question to explore. Listeners, I'm going to encourage you at the end of today's show to take a couple moments and ask, do you love yourself? Do you accept yourself? And just see what you discover and all that can unfold from there. And remember, this powerful book that Beth has created is really designed to come alongside you as you're answering that question, and that you can lean in both to her and her support, as well as this powerful book that she has birthed and brought forward into the world. And with that in mind, Beth, I'd love for you to remind us of the full title of your book, where we can get it, and the best way that we can connect in and go deeper with you as well.
Absolutely. So the title is Allow Life to Happen and Receive Everything You Desire. And it can be found on my website, thriveflourishgrow.com. That's Thrive, Flourish, Grow. All synonyms for the word expansion, because I believe that we're here for the expansion of our soul. And, of course, they can find the book on Amazon and Allow Life to Happen, and it pops up. It's beautiful. And then, I'm sorry, what was it? What was the other part?
Oh, no, I wanted everyone to know the best way to connect with you and the full title of the book.
Yeah, so really the website, thriveflourishgrow.com, is the best way.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So Amazon.com, and then the best way to connect with Beth and all the different things that she brings into the world is through her website. So that's perfect. Thank you so much, Beth, for joining us today, leaning into the conversation. I so appreciate it. I know it's an especially busy time after a launch, so thank you for carving out time to share with us, as this is all fresh and being rippled out into the world in such powerful ways. I so appreciate it. And listeners, thank you for tuning in. We'd love to hear from you. We hope that you lean into connecting with Beth and adding her beautiful book to your library, and know that we are always here as well to support you on the journey. You can reach out to us at any time at Rebecca@yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Rebecca@yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. And we'd love to hear from you and continue to support you on your journey. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.